Get ready to cringe because it's the 25 most awkward and embarrassing moments in sports. But before we get to those, take a second to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that things don't ever become too awkward between us. Grit your teeth and clench your fists because the cringe factor is turned up to 11. These sports moments are filled with so much awkwardness that we'd almost feel sorry for everyone involved if we weren't so busy laughing at them. Did that sound too mean? Sorry. With them. We're laughing with them, even though we're usually laughing because they kind of got hurt, and also they aren't laughing. So get ready to laugh with these athletes because it's the 25 most awkward and embarrassing moments in sports. This hockey player must have thought that being ejected wasn't enough punishment, so he decided to dish out a little more self-justice and clothesline himself with his own stick on his way off the ice. They called this move the decapitator. It's going to be hard playing the rest of the game with no head. The medics are on the sideline to help any players that might get injured in a game. They're supposed to spring into action and clear the hurt person from the field, protect them from further injury, and rush them to safety. These medics can't do any of that. In fact, they can't stop dropping their patient. At this point, maybe they should just let him walk off the field. Nothing says romance quite like proposing to someone in front of 20,000 fans that would rather be watching baseball. Peanuts, beer, and body odor are the aromas of true love. But things go from awkward to downright embarrassing when this guy can't find his engagement ring. That's 3 months of salary worth of regret. He enlists the crowd to help him look. Eventually they find it and they live happily ever after. The guy and the crowd live happily ever after. The lady and him didn't last. Fight weigh-ins are all about psyching out your opponent. Most of them involve a stare down and can turn into a pull-apart brawl. Ever have one of those days when nothing is going right and you just can't figure out why you can't get any water to come out of your water bottle? Well, we could all use a friend like this to walk over and turn it around for us. You usually don't slide headfirst into first base. Also, the dirt on the field is usually a little loose and not packed solid. But sometimes things happen, and you end up doing whatever gymnastics floor routine maneuver this is. Whatever this is, it was impressive. John Cena made a career of being loved by half the audience and hated by the other half. On this, Usain Bolt is one of the fastest men in the world. Almost nothing can stop him. Well, a cameraman on a Segway could. As Bolt prepared for a race, the wheel on his cameraman's scooter went astray and led him directly into Bolt's path, knocking him over. Steve Bartman is the poster child for awkward and embarrassing sports moments. He's also pretty much hated by all of Chicago, so maybe you see where this is going. Bartman is a fan of the Chicago Cubs and during a game stopped his own team from making an amazing defensive play. If you're in the stands, pay attention. Don't reach over and don't do a Bartman. This tennis match is interrupted by tennis's natural enemy, a bird. It's a well-known fact that birds hate tennis. Tennis officials will do everything in their power to keep this secret, so it must be pretty embarrassing for them when footage like this gets out there. This sports reporter gets the hot scoop from a motocross racer. But she forgot that they're both standing in mud and he's about to start spinning those wheels of his. That's bad news for her and any clothes she didn't plan on getting muddy. Hope she didn't plan on going anywhere right after work. At Miesha Tate's weigh-in, she disrobes and stands behind a towel to get an accurate reading on the scale. Notice the guy behind her that can't keep his eyes off of her body. That probably wasn't part of this dude's job description. It has to be an awkward moment when everyone on TV finds out that you're a perv. This may be the most wide-open scoring opportunity anyone has ever seen. There may not be another living soul anywhere within miles of the goal here. Maybe that's why she misses it so badly. If all you have to do to score is barely tap the ball in, why do you kick it hard? The fan contests at NBA games are always good for a laugh, but these announcers are truly baffled by these tic-tac-toe players and their decision-making. They have an entire arena shaking their heads in disbelief and disgust. Is it their first time playing tic-tac-toe, or are they just the worst tic-tac-toe players of all time? Alright, we did it everybody, let's celebrate. When you're celebrating with your boys, make sure you assign one person to keep an eye on the trophy. You need a designated trophy watcher. It's the responsible way to celebrate. Whoever was on trophy duty here failed spectacularly. The back and forth between Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal is usually hilarious. But when Chuck interrupts the big fella to say who he thinks he looks like, it cuts a little too close to home. No one wants to be told they look like Shrek, especially people that look like Shrek. Poor Shaquille O'Neal. Tennis star Nick Kyrgios absent-mindedly, and if we're being honest, pretty rudely tosses his towel to what he thinks is a ball boy standing behind him. Only problem is, it's actually a judge. We'll see if this guy refs the rest of the game fairly. Hopefully, he won't be too rude to our boy Nick. Catcher has got to be the most uncomfortable position in baseball, and maybe even all of sports. You have to squat like you're out in a field the whole game. There's all that heavy padding and the mask. You have the dumb umpire yelling in your ear. And this might happen. Poor Stephen Vogt catches a foul tip right in the… well, it's right in the awkward and embarrassing moments in sports. Nothing beats the excitement of catching a baseball in the stands at a ball game. Look at the excitement on this woman's face. She is so happy and stoked. And then look at the sheer disappointment when the little kid pops up out of nowhere to rip the ball from out of her path. Brutal. This tennis rally is an intense back and forth with each player trying their best to outdo and outwit the other, until finally, Damir Zumar has a wee bit too much momentum and slides underneath the net. Wow, that was a pretty smooth move. Unfortunately, there's no points awarded for style in tennis. It's great to see somebody that loves their job, and this dude loves being a referee. Nobody has ever refereed as hard as this guy referees. Not to say he's a particularly good referee, but he is the most referee. He is very referee. It has to be hard for the fighters to watch each other and not the ref. It is always a little awkward when a parachutist lands in the middle of your field during a match. Do you stop and wait for him to get off? Do you play around him? So many questions. You don't go up and start a soccer game in their plane while they're trying to take off. You'd think they could try to show you the same level of respect. It catches everyone off guard when a hurdler trips and falls over a hurdle, especially the first one of the race. This dude seems surprised that there was even a hurdle there. Maybe he meant to sign up for a different race and made a mistake. It turns out we've all been doing this speed skating thing all wrong. Instead of trying to go around the ice rink as fast as you can, just do what Olympic gold medalist Stephen Bradbury did instead, and be in last place for 10 laps waiting for everyone to fall. This has got to be the greatest way that anyone has ever won